Welcome, everyone, to our deep dive all about gratitude.
Yeah.
As we wrap up 2024 and look ahead to 2025.
Yeah, it's a great time to think about what we're thankful for.
Exactly. And maybe set some intentions for cultivating more gratitude in the new year.
Absolutely. So we've got some really interesting research to share today from Psychology Today, Mindful, the Greater Good Science Center, and Very Well, Mind.
And we'll be weaving in some personal reflections, too, to see how these findings connect with our own experiences.
Sounds good.
You know, I've been reflecting a lot on gratitude myself lately.
Yeah.
And I came across this personal reflection called Pasted Text that really resonated with me.
Oh, yeah, I remember that one.
It talks about finding gratitude for simple things, like having a roof over your head, food on the table, the people you love.
Right. It's those everyday blessings that we sometimes take for granted.
Exactly.
Oh.
And the reflection goes on to talk about being grateful for challenges, too.
That's an interesting perspective.
It's not about pretending everything is perfect, but more about finding the strength and resilience that come from overcoming obstacles.
That reminds me of the research on post-traumatic growth.
Oh, yeah. Tell me more about that.
Well, it shows that people often come out of difficult experiences with a deeper appreciation for life and stronger connections with others.
It's like those challenges, even though they're tough in the moment, can ultimately lead to greater gratitude in the long run.
Absolutely. So it brings us to a fundamental question. What exactly is gratitude?
Yeah. It's more than just saying thank you.
Yay. Right. It's a deeper feeling, like a genuine appreciation.
Exactly.
Researcher Robert Emmons defines gratitude as having two key components. The first is acknowledging the good things in our lives, what we're thankful for. And the second is recognizing that the source of that goodness often lies outside of ourselves.
Okay, that makes sense. So, for example, I could be grateful for my health, but also recognize that I don't have complete control over it. There are factors like genetics and even luck involved.
Exactly. It's about acknowledging the interconnectedness of life and those things we receive that come from beyond ourselves. This shift in perspective is what can trigger a cascade of positive changes within us, both mentally and physically.
Now, this is where it gets really fascinating for me. The science of gratitude.
Yeah.
I'm always so intrigued by how our thoughts and emotions impact our physical well-being.
Well, get ready to be amazed. Gratitude actually lights up the same brain areas associated with reward, pleasure, and social bonding. In fact, studies have shown that practicing gratitude can increase levels of dopamine and oxytocin in the brain.
Wait, dopamine? Isn't that the feel-good chemical linked to pleasure and motivation? And oxytocin, is that the one that promotes bonding and trust?
That's right. So when we experience gratitude, our brains are essentially flooded with these feel-good chemicals, leading to a sense of well-being, happiness, and connection.
So it's not just a warm, fuzzy feeling. There's actual neurochemistry happening. I love it. But what does this mean for us practically? How can we cultivate more of this gratitude?
That's where the practical tips from the How to Practice Gratitude article in Mindful come in handy.
Perfect. Let's hear them.
One of the most popular and effective practices is keeping a gratitude journal.
I've heard about gratitude journals, but to be honest, it always seemed a little cheesy to me. Like just listing things you're thankful for, but is there more to it?
There definitely can be. The Mindful article suggests going a bit deeper. Instead of just listing what you're grateful for, write about why you're grateful for those things.
So it's about getting specific and really tapping into those feelings.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like the difference between saying, I'm grateful for my family, and describing a special moment that made you feel grateful for them. Maybe a meaningful conversation, or a shared laugh, or just the feeling of their love and support.
I get it. It's about making those feelings come alive through details and storytelling.
Exactly. And another tip that stood out to me, especially as we approach the new year, is to focus on people rather than things. Don't get me wrong. It's great to appreciate material things, but expressing gratitude for the people in our lives has an even greater impact on our well-being.
Because relationships are at the heart of it all.
Absolutely. And gratitude strengthens those bonds, creating this positive feedback loop. When we express gratitude to someone, it makes them feel appreciated, but it also reinforces those feelings within ourselves.
So we've talked about gratitude journals and focusing on people, especially as we head into 2025.
And there's another powerful practice the Mindful article mentions that I think is especially relevant as we reflect on the past year. It's called subtraction.
Subtraction. What's that?
Well, it's a thought experiment. The idea is to imagine your life without certain people or things that you're grateful for.
Oh, okay, I see.
So, for instance, think about a close friend or family member who brings you joy. Now imagine your life without their presence, their support, their laughter. Really let yourself feel what it would be like without them.
Wow. Yeah, that's pretty powerful. I can already feel a wave of gratitude washing over me.
Right. It helps us shift our perspective and appreciate what we have instead of taking it for granted. It's especially poignant as we look back on 2024 and all the people who have enriched our lives.
It really does make you realize how much richer your life is because of those connections.
Absolutely. And subtraction can also be applied to experiences or even material possessions. Imagine your life without that cozy home you love, the food you enjoy, or the freedom to pursue your passions.
It's like a gratitude reset button. Suddenly all those everyday things feel extraordinary.
Exactly. And this practice can be especially helpful during challenging times when gratitude might feel harder to come by.
I can see that because it helps us focus on what we do have, even when things are tough.
Precisely. It reminds us that even when things are difficult, there's still so much to be grateful for. It's a great practice to carry with us into the new year.
The pasted text reflection also talked about finding gratitude in unexpected places, like those little moments of joy that catch us off guard.
The Mindful article calls this savoring surprises. Unexpected joys tend to bring about stronger feelings of gratitude because they disrupt our routine and remind us of the good things that exist beyond our expectations.
Like finding a $20 bill in your pocket or getting an unexpected gift. It just brightens your whole day.
Exactly. And these surprises can be even more meaningful when we really savor them. Instead of just letting them pass us by, we can pause, take a breath, and really soak in that feeling of gratitude.
It's like hitting the pause button on life and saying, hey, this is a good moment. I'm going to appreciate it.
Exactly. And the more we practice savoring those surprises, the more attuned we become to noticing them in the first place. It's like we're training our brains to look for the good, even amidst the chaos of everyday life.
Speaking of training our brains, the article also talks about seeing good things in our lives as gifts, which I really like.
That framing is so powerful. It shifts our perspective from entitlement to appreciation. Instead of feeling like we deserve all the good things, we start to see them as blessings, as gifts to be cherished.
It's like that feeling of opening a present on your birthday. The excitement, the surprise, the gratitude for the thoughtfulness behind it.
Exactly. And that ties back to Emmons' definition of gratitude, recognizing that the source of goodness often lies outside of ourselves. It's acknowledging that we're not solely responsible for all the good things in our lives, and that there's a certain grace or serendipity at play.
It's humbling in a way.
It is. And this sense of humility can be so liberating. It frees us from the pressure of having to control everything.
This is all making so much sense.
Yeah.
But what about those times when gratitude is hard to find, when you're going through something difficult and it's tough to see the good?
You know, those are actually the times when gratitude can be the most powerful. It's not about denying the difficulty, but about finding those glimmers of light amidst the darkness. It's something we can all carry with us into the new year.
The pasted text reflection mentioned being grateful for the basics. A roof over your head, food on the table, the people you love. Those things become even more precious when you're facing adversity.
So true. And there's actually research that backs this up. Studies have shown that even in tough times, focusing on gratitude can boost our resilience, help us cope with stress, and even improve our mental health.
It's like a lifeline, a way to anchor ourselves when things feel stormy.
Exactly. And remember, gratitude isn't a one-time thing, it's a practice, just like working out at the gym. We can train our minds to be more grateful. And the key is consistency.
So we should aim for small but regular acts of gratitude throughout the year, not just during the holidays.
That's what the research suggests. And while a gratitude journal can be a great tool, the Mindful article warns against overdoing it.
Why is that?
Well, if we're always listing the same things, we can become desensitized to them. It's like anything else. Too much of a good thing can lessen its impact.
So it's about finding that balance, maybe trying different techniques or mixing things up to keep it fresh.
Exactly. And it's also important to remember that gratitude shouldn't feel forced. It's about cultivating a genuine appreciation, not just going through the motions.
I hear that. But what happens when gratitude starts to feel like a chore? Like you should be grateful, but you just don't feel it.
That's a great question. And it brings up one of the potential downsides of gratitude. The Very Well Mind article talks about how the pressure to feel grateful, especially around the holidays, can lead to stress and resentment.
Well, I know that feeling. When you're supposed to be thankful for everything, but you're secretly feeling stressed or overwhelmed. Especially with the new year coming, there can be a lot of pressure to feel positive.
It's important to acknowledge those feelings. Gratitude shouldn't be used to suppress other emotions or force ourselves into a state of fake positivity. As we wrap up 2024 and move into 2025, it's crucial to give ourselves permission to experience all our emotions, even the difficult ones.
So it's about finding that balance between appreciating the good and acknowledging the bad. not letting gratitude become a form of denial.
Exactly. And that leads us to another potential pitfall of gratitude, the toxic positivity trap.
Oh yeah, I've heard of that. It's where we focus so much on being positive that we ignore real problems.
Exactly. And while gratitude can be amazing for relationships, it shouldn't be used to excuse bad behavior or avoid tough conversations. As we think about the past year and the year ahead, it's important to be honest with ourselves and others about both the good and the bad.
So it's about using gratitude as a tool for growth and connection, not as a way to pretend everything is perfect.
Well said. And I think that's a perfect segue into the next part of our deep dive, where we'll explore the fascinating connection between gratitude and the brain.
I'm ready for it. Okay, so we've covered a lot on the practical side of gratitude, especially as we wrap up 2024 and look ahead to a brand new year.
Now let's explore how gratitude actually changes our brains. We're diving into neuroscience for this grand finale.
I'm excited for this. The mind-body connection has always fascinated me, especially how thoughts and emotions can shape our well-being.
Well, the research is really mind-blowing. The How Gratitude Changes You and Your Brain article from the Greater Good Science Center goes deep.
Let's hear it. What happens in our brains when we feel grateful?
Researchers have discovered that gratitude activates the same brain areas associated with reward, pleasure, and social bonding. Think of it like a neural symphony of feel-good chemicals like dopamine and oxytocin.
Dopamine, that's the one that gives us that winning the lottery feeling, right?
Yeah.
And oxytocin is all about trust and connection.
Exactly. So gratitude isn't just a passing feeling. It sets off a chain reaction of neurochemicals that elevate our mood, strengthen our relationships, and just boost our overall well-being.
Incredible. The article mentioned gratitude unshackling us from toxic emotions. What does that mean?
Well, studies have shown that people who regularly practice gratitude tend to dwell less on negative experiences. They're less likely to get caught in those spirals of envy, resentment, or anger.
So gratitude helps shift our focus away from negativity and make space for positive emotions.
Precisely. What's even more amazing is that these mental health benefits of gratitude seem to multiply over time. One study found that participants who wrote gratitude letters reported feeling happier and less stressed weeks or even months later.
It's like strengthening a muscle. Those positive neural pathways become stronger with each act of gratitude, making it easier to access those good feelings in the future.
I like that analogy. And here's another fascinating finding. The benefits of gratitude don't rely on sharing it with someone else. Even if you write a gratitude letter and never send it, the act of writing alone has a positive impact.
So it's not about external validation. It's about the internal shift that happens when we focus on what we're thankful for.
Exactly. And this leads us to one of the most amazing discoveries in gratitude research. Scientists have used fMRI scans to observe brain activity during acts of kindness. Guess what? People who were more grateful in their daily lives showed increased activity in the medial prefrontal cortex.
Wait, isn't the prefrontal cortex involved in decision-making? So gratitude rewires our brains to be more kind and generous.
That's what the research suggests. It seems gratitude primes our brains for altruism, compassion, and a willingness to help others.
It makes sense. If you're feeling grateful for all the good in your life, you're probably more inclined to share that with others.
Absolutely. This brings us back to our theme of wrapping up 2024 and starting 2025 with gratitude. As we reflect on the past year and everyone who has touched our lives, let's carry that gratitude forward.
And consciously try to bring more kindness and generosity into the world.
I couldn't agree more. So, as we wrap up this deep dive into gratitude, what's the one thing you hope our listeners will remember?
That gratitude is a choice. We can focus on the negative, dwell on what's missing, or we can choose to focus on the positive, appreciate what we have, and be thankful.
Beautifully said. And the science is clear. Choosing gratitude makes us happier and healthier. It also spreads outwards, making the world a kinder place.
As we head into 2025, let's challenge ourselves to make gratitude a daily practice. Whether it's through journaling, acts of kindness, or savoring those small moments of joy, let's make this the year of gratitude.
A wonderful thought to end on. Thanks for joining us on this gratitude journey. Remember, even a little gratitude can have a profound impact on your life and those around you.
Until next time, stay curious, keep exploring, and never underestimate the power of a grateful heart.